Hi guys, how you doing? Have you ever cooked a dish with apples before that wasn't apple pie? Well, today we're doing just that. I'm gonna make an African dish called Bobotie. I hope they don't crucify me for the changes I made. You wanna know how I did it? I'm Cosito. Let's go! Let's start with the first thing you need to do. You need to let your oven preheat at 200 degrees. Now let's continue on to the ingredients you need. You need 2 apples, red or green, 2 cloves of garlic, 1 onion, 3 eggs. You're gonna use a little bit of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of curry powder, and 1 teaspoon of ginger powder. Normally for bobotie, you use apricots, but I don't like apricots that much, so for the sweetness, I'm using a bell pepper. So this ingredient is optional, but highly recommended. Need about 200 milliliters of milk, salt and pepper, also 125 grams of creme fraiche. You also need 400 grams of green beans. As a protein, you're gonna use 400 grams of ground beef. And lastly but not least, you need, I'm not kidding you, you need 1 slice of bread. You're gonna soak this in milk and then slice it up, and then you'll see later. Stay tuned. After preparing you for everything you need and also preheating your oven, let's get cooking. So the first thing you're gonna do is prepare your green beans. You're just gonna cut them in water and let them boil. After you're done slicing them, you're gonna boil them for around 10 minutes. The green beans are boiling, you're gonna focus on slicing your vegetables. For the bell pepper, I'm not gonna slice these very small because these are going in the oven and I don't want them to overcook. So we're gonna slice them in bâtonnet pieces, just like this. For the onion and the garlic, these however will be cut into smaller pieces to go in the dish. These are just like this. The apples are gonna require much more work. These are gonna be peeled and then sliced into bite-sized pieces. You can just follow along. By now your green beans must be done boiling, and you're just gonna put them aside and put another pan on the stove. This we're gonna fill with a little bit of oil and butter. After the oil and the butter has heated up, you're gonna put in your ground beef, and this you're gonna let it cook for around 3 to 4 minutes. At this point it's seasoning time, so add a bit of salt and pepper. Add also 1 teaspoon of curry powder, half a teaspoon of ginger powder, and half a teaspoon of cinnamon. Mix that up thoroughly and let it incorporate with each other while it's cooking for the last few minutes. After the ground beef has been cooking for around 3 to 4 minutes, you're gonna add your onions and garlic. And you're gonna mix that all up and let that cook for another 3 to 4 minutes. While your ground beef is on the stove cooking off, you're gonna grab a container and put your slice of bread in it. This you're gonna soak into 50 milliliters of milk. Let the bread soak for about the last minutes that the ground beef need to cook, and then you're gonna break the slice of bread into small pieces, and then you're gonna feed it into the pan. After you added the pieces of bread, you're gonna feed in your drained green beans. And of course, you're gonna mix that all up. We're almost at the end of this cooking process, so we're gonna add in our bell pepper and our apples. And for the last time, you're gonna mix that all up. It will probably come out looking a bit like this. Lastly, we're gonna move on to the binding mixtures. To 3 eggs, you're gonna add 200 milliliters of milk, and then a bit of curry powder, and then just a tiny bit of cayenne pepper. This is optional, but highly recommended. Next, you're gonna whisk like your life depends on it. After you've thoroughly mixed it, you're gonna add the 125 grams of creme fraiche. And then you're going to, yes, you guessed it, whisk again like your life depends on it. When you're done whisking the binding mixture, you're gonna grab a casserole dish and feed in your ground beef mixture. Following that, to the same casserole dish, you're gonna add your binding mixture. Make sure you cover all the edges such that the whole casserole dish is filled with the binding mixture. It'll look like this and it's ready to go into the oven at 200 degrees for exactly 35 minutes. It'll come out the oven looking exactly like this. Ain't it gorgeous? Now let me just grab a plate and let's plate up. Now let's dig in. You can eat this with rice or potatoes, but whatever you choose to eat it with, I'm sure it's gonna taste delicious. Yum! Tell me, how delicious did that look? Well, it tasted delicious. I never cook African dishes that much. I need to cook more African dishes. If you know a good African dish, comment them below. Like this video if you have enjoyed, and don't forget to subscribe. This has been Cosito's Kitchen and showing you the difference between a chef and a cook. Take care, guys. Peace.